We're back. Welcome back to Basebald, the DC Bros. I'm Brandon. This is Brian.
What's up?
And we want to make sure that you guys remember to go ahead and get on Twitter at HOU Basebald. You can also email us at houbasebald@gmail.com or go and follow us on Facebook at Basebald.
Yeah, give us a like on Basebald. Also, go to YouTube and subscribe to this show. If you're watching this show, just click subscribe. It's free. It's easy. It helps us.
Absolutely free. So go ahead and do that if you get a second. What we want to be talking about today, we're going to talk about the AL West. And it's still hard for me to say that we're in the American League.
It hurts to say it, yeah.
It does. It does. We grew up National League boys, you know, with the Astros playing the Reds and Cardinals and Cubbies. Even way back before
small
that.
Ball in the Astrodome, you know, small ball.
Yeah, even way back before that, I was, Braves, Dodgers, Giants were our big.
The Old West.
Yeah, the Old West. So it's still hard for us to believe that we're in the American League, but that's the state of the Astros these days. We are in American League West, and that's what we're talking today. So we're going to go ahead and give you our picks as we see them in February.
Yeah, we'll run down the teams a little bit, each team, and then talk about where we see things finishing up. I've got my Astros shirt on. Am I going to pick them to win the division? I don't know.
I don't know. You'll have to just keep watching.
I'm not, but but let's go ahead and jump right in and start talking about it. It's a very competitive division this year.
I think it's
tough.
I think it's maybe one of the best divisions. I like the AL Central, which we'll talk about next time. But the AL West is looking really, really tough this year.
I had problems going through this and trying to figure out exactly who I liked best and why. And
I was surprised at how different our picks were.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Thanks for good discussion, right? Well, Jim Crane wants to be in the playoffs this year. I say shoot for 500 this year. And maybe next year is the year, because there is a stacked division. And you want to go first? You want to hit on the A's?
Well, no, I don't really want to hit on the A's right now.
Okay, forget the A's. Out the window with them.
No, I'll go ahead and give me my picks. Or should we save that to the end?
Yeah, let's just save it to the end. Go ahead and pick a team. And
all right, I'll talk about the A's then. And this is a team with a ton of turnover. They went for it last year. We talked about it. Went out and got Lester. Went out and got Samardzija. And gave up a lot of their future for it. They decided this year to go ahead and try to replenish their farm system, get some of that back, while also staying competitive. And I thought for sure that I was going to look at the A's and look at this team and say definite bottom dwellers for a while. That they just don't have it this year. But pitching and defense win games, and
yes, they've got it.
They've got it. Sean Doolittle, there's some question as to whether he's their closer, and there's some question as to whether he's going to come back healthy to start the season, but he will be back at some point. So he'll be closing it. And that bullpen with Tyler Clippard, Eric O'Flaherty, Ryan Cook, Abad, they've got plenty of arms down there for 7, 8, 9.
Yeah.
They get a one-run lead. It's going to hold up in most cases.
Yeah, I mean it's just like Kansas City in that regard, where you feel like you can get into the last third of the game and you're winning, and you're pretty much locked in.
So the A's, they got the bullpen. They've got the starting pitching. People don't they did lose Lester. They lost Samardzija. They must be empty and
right. That's what I thought. I thought the same thing. They're going to just fall off the face of the earth. How can you possibly lose those two guys and still have a good pitching staff?
Well, I'll tell you how. I'm a huge Sonny Gray guy.
You are.
I love Sonny Gray. He's going to be the #1 guy on this team. You got Scott Kazmir, who's had a resurgence last couple of years and looked really good. There's your #2. Jesse Chavez had a nice year last year. Drew Pomeranz, Jesse Hahn, who they picked up. It's very deep. They've got some people that may be able to come back and help out, like Jared Parker. And it's going to be a really interesting team. The pitching staff is going to be fine, I think. Now, when you get into the position players, you're talking a little mix and match here. They go out and sign Billy Butler to play DH.
A very ace thing to do.
Very ace thing to do. And I think it's going to be fine. I think Billy Butler's a good hitter. He'll bounce back and have a good 3 years out there. I think it was a good signing. I know I talked to you about it early in the offseason, and that was somebody I looked at.
You wanted him for the Stros,
That was somebody I thought for the right price would have been really good for the Stros. But Billy Beane jumped on him early, and I thought that was a good signing for them. They'll go out and they get Ike Davis to play first base. Lots of power, but too many strikeouts and that 220 batting average.
And injuries. I just can't quite put it together.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to happen there, but it's Billy Beane and the A's, so I'm sure it'll work out.
Another change of scenery. You never know. Yeah, for Billy Beane, it might work out. But.
You got second base Ben Zobrist, another personal favorite of mine, coming up through the Astros system and playing with the Rays all that year. They get him in a trade. So, for those of you that haven't followed the offseason, lots of new names for the A's. Ike Davis, Ben Zobrist, you got Marcus Semien, who they got in a trade with the White Sox. He'll be playing shortstop, it looks like. And then Brett Lowry, who they got in the Donaldson deal, will be playing third base. So they got a lot of names out there, a lot of guys that look like they can pick it, play some good defense. And Zobrist, good contact guy, and good number 2 hitter. I don't know how the lineup exactly is going to fill out for them. Coco Crisp. Coco Crisp is going to be playing center field, you hope, but a lot of concussion issues, back issues. You don't know how much you're going to get out of him. I'm a little worried about that position. Josh Reddick's still there in the middle of the lineup, but is he going to have a bounce back year and be able to show some of that power? Without Moss and Cespedes there, nobody really backing him up. And then left field, you got Craig Gentry, Sam Fuld, some defensive first guys, some speed guys. You're looking at probably some number 9 hitters.
Yeah, really.
To get people on base and some speed. And then Stephen Vogt playing catcher.
Right. And, good, solid players all around. It's not like they have big holes anywhere, but there's no big bat that you feel like can take care of you and put you on his back for a week or 2 at a time. There's just nothing like that. And I think that's where my confidence in them goes out the window. I just don't know that they're going to score enough runs. They do have the pitching and the bullpen, and the defense. But if you don't score any runs, hey.
It's a tough division, AL West. So I see a lot of 3-2 games in their future, and they might surprise a lot of people. I'm a little higher on them than I thought I would be, but all that being said, I have the A's in the cellar this year. So
I do too, surprisingly enough. I do, but it was not easy. I looked at them just like you and thought, well, this isn't as bad a team as possible. Maybe the Astros aren't out of the woods yet. But
that pitching staff I think will hold them on together. I don't want to talk too long about the A's. That's a quick summary. Why don't you tell everybody about what the Rangers did?
Well, what the Rangers did was get hurt all last year. They had very key injuries. Obviously, go get Prince Fielder, traded for him, and he has a neck injury and has to get I think vertebrae fusion surgery.
It's a shame. I love Prince, man.
Ugh, that sounds bad.
As much as I hate that he's in our division and we got to watch him, I do love Prince, and so I hope he's able to bounce back.
I like Prince. Yeah. I also like they also lost Martin Perez. That was a big blow to them. Jurickson Profar, their big number 1 prospect for a couple of years running, got hurt, missed the entire season. There was just a ton of bad luck. They, Shinson Chu didn't play very well at all. I just thought that it was a perfect storm of terrible.
I was so surprised by
bad
that
vibes
too.
for them.
I think that was a surprise across baseball. I thought everybody thought that was a perfect fit, and Shin-Soo Choo was going to be a great hitter there in that ballpark and getting on base, and he didn't really do anything.
He looked bad.
He did. He looked bad last year.
But I've got them making a big turnaround, and because those guys are healthy, because Prince is back, he's swinging the stick. He's been cleared to play for a while now. I think he's going to have a big monster year, make a big bounce back, and that's going to lead to everybody around him becoming a lot better. From the top of the lineup down, where you got Andrews and Chu and Beltray, all those guys. I just think that they're going to feed off of what Fielder is going to do, and everything. Yes, everything that I'm saying about the Rangers is hinging on that. Is hinging on Prince Fielder being back. But he, before he got hurt, was a very durable guy. He didn't miss games. You know, you'd think a big body guy like him maybe would have more injury issues.
He's a big vegetarian, right?
Yeah, the big veg. Well, you've got him, but you've also got who I think is the best pitcher in the American League this year, Yu Darvish.
Well, I would have to argue that hard.
I'm going to go with him because I think he's going to lead the big comeback along with Prince and Martin Perez coming back, and just that Derek Holland, Giovanni Gallardo is now a depth guy on their rotation. Doesn't have to be a 1 or a 2.
It looks like they've got him slotted in at the 4 spot.
Yeah, that helps, and that's having him go against other 4s is nice.
Right.
So I'm pretty high on the Rangers right now.
Who's at the back of that bullpen?
The back of that bullpen right now, Neftali Feliz.
Feliz and Sheppers.
Yeah.
They'll be handling. I'm not too high on that bullpen, to be honest with you.
Yeah. After Feliz, it's a little.
Sheppers is a good pitcher, and we know what Feliz can do. He looks like he's back and able to throw the way he was a couple years ago. I'm just not sold on that bullpen. I'm not as high on the starting pitchers as you are.
Mm-hmm.
Man, best pitcher in the American League is a stretch. Chris Sale, Felix Hernandez.
Yeah, I know. But especially in this division, and I took Felix into account.
Well, then you're crazy.
Well, I guess so. But I just think for this year, I think that he's going to have the better year. He's going to be my pick for Cy Young. We'll do an award show early before the season starts. But I've got them doing well, and Joey Gallo can come up and contribute at some point.
Well, I'm a big Gallo fan. I'll throw out Joey anytime. We'll talk Joey. I want to see that awesome left-hand power in that small stadium.
Got tons of it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh! It doesn't look like he's going to be able to come up and play third base with, a guy that's kind of getting to be on the Hall of Fame consideration.
You just wonder, right? What happened to this guy?
The way
Beltre is just
the way he plays defense is already Hall-worthy, and then the way he's been hitting the last couple years. He's put together a solid career.
It's been great.
And
darn it.
I know. And a couple guys I'd like to throw out there. You got Corporon backing up Chirinos.
Yeah, they've got some good depth there.
And we got they got DeShields, who's going to be in the mix for one of their outfield spots. So, but we need to move it along.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the Mariners, who I'm really high on. And you got Seager playing third base. You're going to have a shortstop battle there with Chris Taylor and Franklin.
Brad Miller.
Brad Miller. Franklin got traded last year. Cano at second base. Right now, at the beginning of the season, you'll have Logan Morrison playing first base, I think. But I think the key, sometime in the middle of the year, is you'll see DJ Peterson come up, their big prospect, and take that over. I think that guy's legit. I think he's for real. So maybe the second half of the season, you see him playing first base. Even though he's a third base prospect, I think first base is where he's going to be with Kyle Seager signing that long-term deal.
That gives him a big boost.
And speaking of big boost, how about Nelson Cruz signing there in the offseason?
You get somebody to bat behind Cano, protect him in the order, and provide that big right-handed power that the Mariners always seem to be lacking in.
Not only the new guy, not the only new guy there. They got Austin Jackson in a trade to play center field. They went and got Seth Smith to be right fielder. I think now that guy has a spot of his own, he'll be able to hit. I don't know how much power in that stadium that'll have, but
he can hit. He's a good hitter. He just always was without a position, like you said.
Kind of like the guy on the other side of the outfield, Ackley, who finally looks like he's gotten his act together, but I don't know how much power is going to be there for a corner outfielder.
12 to 15 homers, I'd say.
I don't know if he's going to have that much, but
he'll be all right.
And Zunino, of course,
behind the plate.
But what the Mariners have built on is that pitching, and it is loaded. I'm huge on the Mariners starting pitching. Felix, he's the number one guy for me. You start there. You got Iwakuma, you got Paxton, Taijuan Walker.
Walker could be huge. for them.
J.A. Happ is going to be at the back end of the rotation. Elias came up and pitched well. You got Danny Holtzman, I think people forget about, but he'll be coming back healthy. And I think he's just going to be a stud. And then the bullpen, you got three, closer quality guys down there with Rodney and then Farquhar and Williamson setting up for him. So I think the Mariners are stacked, and I'm very high on them.
They're going to be very, very good.
But
it's all starting to shape up with bad news for the Astros here.
I know a lot of teams improved themselves in the AL West. But we haven't even talked about the team that won the division last year. That's a little team in Anaheim.
Anaheim, the Angels. We all know them. First thing we think about is Mike Trout.
Mike
Trout,
Trout,
the best player in baseball. Mike Trout.
Agreed.
They've got Albert Pujols. They've got other than that, they've got guys that kind of fill in. Cole Calhoun is pretty good.
Oh, I'm a big Cole Calhoun guy. I like that guy.
But that's your 1, 2, 3 in the lineup.
And
Calhoun,
then it just falls off.
Trout and Pujols, and then where do you go from there? Josh Hamilton just got hurt, and you never know if he's going to come back and be effective when he comes back or get hurt again. So a lot of question marks I have for them in their lineup.
We're going to have help me out here, platoon situation going on out there for Hamilton now with Joyce and probably Colin Cowgill. That Ibar is still there playing short. You got Freeze, who's been decent defensive guy, but never really been a hitter during the season, at least, besides that one World Series, which he was phenomenal in. Chris Iannetta behind the plate, C.J. Cron, DH.
Rutledge at second, and then...
Rutledge, I don't think... I think he got a little overrated there in Colorado. I don't think he's as good of a hitter. So I think that their lineup is going to struggle a lot.
It is going to struggle.
But and they might have not that it's a bad bullpen, because Houston Street is awesome, but they might have the worst bullpen in the division.
Yeah, which is...
It's not as deep as the Astros.
It's not saying too much because they're all pretty good. But the starting rotation, you still got Jared Weaver, Garrett Richards, who came on so strong last year.
C.J. Wilson, Matt Shoemaker. They went and picked up Andrew Haney this offseason from the Marlins. He's going to be big. They got, of course, Nick Tropiano, a guy I was high on from the Astros. They still have Hector Santiago. I mean, that's 7 deep. So really they only need, a couple of those guys to step up at the end there, and they're going to be solid. So they're going to be in a lot of games. We're going to be going to the 7th inning.
We're tearing down a team for one of their weaknesses. They come back with a huge strength. That just seems to be a trend in this division.
So we've talked about the Astros a lot in recent episodes, and now we've broken down who's where in the AL West. Go ahead and give me how you see the AL West shaping up, because I think we're a little different here.
We are different on this. I'm going to go with how I think it's actually going to play out. Maybe not who's the best and what it looks like on paper, but I'm going to go with the A's in 5th, the Astros moving up to 4th place. I've got the Mariners finishing in 3rd place, and I think that the Angels will find a way to get it done. I don't know why. I don't know why I have that feeling. Maybe I just think Trout's Superman. Maybe he'll start playing all the positions. And I've got the Rangers having one of those crazy, awesome years to bounce back, going from worst to first and taking the division.
Wow, I'm a little surprised that you got the Rangers that high.
I do.
I'm not as big on the Rangers. I'm all about pitching this year. I think all these teams are strong. It is hard to find a bad team, really. All these teams have a chance of being 500 or better. And so you take that into account. I had to rely on the pitching. I went Mariners. Mariners with the additions of Nelson Cruz in the middle of that lineup, and that starting staff and the bullpen. I went Mariners number 1. I went Angels number 2, but I'm not. I think it's going to be a little not as close number 2. They do have the strong pitching staff, but you still got to be able to score runs. And Mike Trout can't do it just he and Pujols by themselves. There's besides Calhoun, there's 6 other spots in that lineup they got to fill and try to get some people to hit. And so I think 2 through 5 are going to be interchangeable. I'm really high on the Mariners coming in 1st, but beyond that, I got the Angels. I got the Astros coming in 3rd. Nice. With their hitting, the improved bullpen. Astros, I think, have the worst starting rotation in the division by far. but it's not a bad rotation. And I think the Astros are going to score a lot more runs than people think. Yeah, we're going to strike out a lot, but we're going to score a lot of runs. Rangers, I'm a big Prince Fielder fan. It's going to take him bouncing back and having that year. It's going to take Shin-Soo Choo bouncing back. They don't have a left fielder as of now. You know, you got Rua and Choice. Like I said, DeShields fighting. Leonis Martinez is a good player. You got defense up the middle. We didn't mention Odor.
Yeah, depth, you know, and can be the super utility guy.
Moreland is their DH right now, but you hope to see Gallo in the middle of the year for them. That would be exciting. Have Fielder and Gallo in the same lineup there.
Deadly.
And Beltre right between them, lefty, righty, lefty. That'd be pretty nasty combo. So I could see where they might be scoring some runs, but I'm not high on their pitching staff. I'm not a big Nick Martinez guy. Derek Holland is an all-right pitcher. Yu Darvish is a very good pitcher. Gallardo I like as the number 4 guy, but they're not as deep. So any injuries, and I think they're going to have the same kind of problems they did last year, and it could just spiral out of control again. So too many ifs for me, so I put Rangers 4th, and not being able to score any runs at all in Oakland is going to be a problem, even with that pitching staff. So I want A's in the cellar. I'm looking forward to the Astros moving up, being a little bit above 500. It's going to be a great year. I'm excited.
It's going to be a tough year
for all these teams. It's a tough division.
Going to beat up on each other.
So I want you all to remember out there, when you're watching these games, it is not going to be an easy ride. It's going to be fun, though, and we're going to be competitive. So look for the Mariners and Angels and Rangers and A's to all have good seasons. The Astros hopefully above 500, somewhere in the mix. And I'm excited.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
All right. For my brother Brian, I'm Brandon. Go Stros.
Go Stros.
We're talking baseball. Klazuski, Campanella talking baseball. The Man and Bobby Fella, the Scooter, the Barber and the Nuke. They knew 'em all from Boston to